Yeah, my name is Brian Horton. I'm the Senior Art Director of Tomb Raider.
And were you involved in the development of the new Lara Croft in aspects of her looks and her background?
Very much so. There's a team of 3 artists, myself, Bren Adams, Cam Yu. We all developed the concept and ultimately the model for Tomb Raider for the video game. And then of course there was VisualWorks, which is our sister studio in Japan. As we were making the final game model, we would be sending them our versions, and VisualWorks was making theirs for the high-res trailer. So then we really liked what they had done as well, and then we brought some of that influence back into ours, and that sort of helped create what you see today as the final version of Lara in the game.
Okay. There are some aspects in Lara's biography which are well known, like her aristocratic background and her nationality. So she's a British lady. How did you stick to that, or did you just change it?
Well, what we've done with her background is we're not going into a lot of details. She still has a very similar background, but in our take on it, she hasn't, the lady or the more stringent kind of background, we've loosened up a little bit. So she's, instead of going to a very proper university and being very sheltered as a child, we're really opening her up and saying she's had experiences where she worked at a bar and she's lived a little bit of life, and she's trying to rebel a little bit from her wealth. So that's the one angle, small change we made, is that we wanted to give Lara a little bit more of a sense that she didn't go to the finest universities, and she's been mingling with more different classes of people, so she has a little bit more of a multicultural, multi-societal kind of background.
I remember one moment in the trailer when somebody said to her, "Remember, you are a Croft." What does it mean? It implies that the Croft family, maybe her parents, are existent, and that they already are pretty tough people or some kind of that.
Well, the Croft background is still something we retained, that her parents had an archaeological background. They've done amazing things, have a name for them, made a name for themselves. That is still a part of our history, and something that will sort of live with Lara is this background. It's something like a shadow. It's like, can I live up to this name? So that is still something that's essential to the Tomb Raider franchise.
In the demo, Queen Himiko was mentioned.
Yes.
What's up with that?
Queen Himiko, we're not going into a lot of details, and there's some research you can do online about that, the idea of the Queen Himiko story. It is sort of a foundation and a backbone of the more cultural, mystery of the island, and we're using that as a basis to build our own, flesh that out, and make our own sort of story around it. We're not staying 100%, restrained by that story, but at the same time, it's something that we're using as a historical basis for us.
And some fans ask if the Endurance or any other shipwreck will be accessible in the game.
We are not going into a lot of details about the future and what parts of the island or Endurance that we can and can't explore. We know that the Endurance does crash land on the island. It's an important part of our story, and it's definitely where it's where the adventure starts.
Another interesting question, I think. I don't know if you can answer it. Will there be any place on the island from where you can see the whole island?
There are going to be some amazing vistas in this game. I'm very excited about what our team has done. We've made probably some of the largest explorable spaces in any Tomb Raider game. Vistas that you can look out and go, I want to go over there, and you get to travel over there. To this specific question of will I see the entire island, I don't think you will be able to see the entire island, but there are going to be vantage points that you will see a lot of the island.
how's the title Tomb Raider connected to the game? Are there any tombs?
There are tombs in the game. In fact, she's in one in Crossroads trailer. She says, "I hate tombs."
Yeah.
That was a reference, obviously, to one of the tombs that she's going to discover. The goal was to try to make one world. So the amount of tombs in the game is they're officially, as a crypt. It might not be as many, but there are going to be places that have significance. There are underground spaces. There are going to be tomb-like places. But to be official, the amount of tombs in the game are, I'm not going into details at this point, but there definitely will be tombs, but there'll be other spaces that will have the same kind of interest as a tomb.
Will there be an intro to the game that shows how and why Lara bought the endurance?
So Lara doesn't own the endurance.
Excuse me?
Lara does not own the endurance.
How she's boarding the ship.
Oh, boarding. Okay. They said bought the ship. We don't go into a lot of details about that right now. There is going to be some story context for the whole trip. So I can tell you that we will be explaining a little bit more why and how she got on the endurance.
Okay. Well, that was very fast forward. I'm out of questions, but I don't know.
You can ask any questions you saw about the demo. Anything you wanted to ask. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, we have a question about the shipwrecks, and you probably know a lot about this because it's in the artworks. The sailing ships. Can you explain maybe?
Yes, in the Crossroads trailer, there's a scene where Lara looks down upon a beach where there's stranded ships and so on. And is that the same place like we saw last year in the E3 trailer? And if yes, why were some of the shipwrecks removed?
That's a good question. It is the same location. We did make a change to that landscape. We wanted to be a little higher up in the cliff sides, and the distribution of the ships changed just from creative reasons, composition reasons. We wanted the island to feel bigger, so in order to do that, some of the ships got shrunk down, so the amount of ships were moved and rearranged. So that was a big part of trying to make the island feel larger, and also we're going to be playing. There's going to be other vistas in the game that you're going to be seeing ships. So that is it was a change. It was something that we made a creative decision on. But those were the changes that we made and why we made them.
Yes, coming back to Queen Himiko, she is the legendary shamaness queen and so on, connected to this Japanese sun goddess.
Yes.
And in the demo we also saw sun symbols on this door that Lara and Dr. Whitman opened. Can you say if there will also be mythical creatures connected to that, maybe as opponents in the game, or will there only be the scavengers and the animals like the wolves?
I'm sure you'll be frustrated by this answer, but we're not going into details about
Thought as much.
about mythology. But just understand that mythology is extremely important, and if you do your research on it, it'll at least give you some imagining of what that would be like. And but yeah, we can't go into a lot of detail about that right now. But you were very observant on some of those visualizations.
Okay.
And do you have already plans for the future of Tomb Raider?
We're definitely thinking about it, but our focus right now is finishing the best Tomb Raider we possibly can. And we want to make sure that we're setting this up for a whole new set of stories that are to come. But we know that if we don't get this one right, we won't have that. So it's super important that we just stay focused at this point.
And the Tomb Raider movie, it's been said that it's about to release when the game is releasing too. And but in an interview, Carl Stewart said that they still are working on the story. So I wonder if there will be a movie in March next year.
We don't know much more about what GK is doing at this point. I know they're very passionate and excited about it. We believe the new date that we've picked for our game should work well for whatever they're doing with the film. All I I do know is we're excited that they're going to make a movie of Tomb Raider. You know, it's an honor that they liked what we had to show, and we're excited to see what they have to do.
And another important question, it's released on PC, Xbox and PlayStation. Do you also plan for Xbox Kinect or PlayStation Move?
We're not talking about any additional peripherals at this point. Our main focus though is just a standard controller-based game.
Yeah, and will there be any differences between the PC version and the console version?
We're going to make sure that the controls work very well for the PC. That we understand there's a huge PC community out there, and it's essential that they get an experience that feels as good as it can for that platform. I'm pretty excited about the PC. It's for those of you out there who are PC players, I think you'll be very happy.
PC player.
And you'll be very happy.
Nice. Nice to know.
Yeah.
How many people are working on the new Tomb Raider, and for how long are they already at it now?
We don't talk about our team sizes that much. It is a passionate group of talented people. I can't say enough about our team. Every day I come to work, I'm inspired by them. We work very, very closely together. It's a family-like atmosphere, and we want to make sure that they know that everything that we've shown is for them. So team, if you're watching, thank you for all your hard work. I know we've been working hard, but we just got a little bit more to go. We're going to rock it.
About the story of the upcoming Tomb Raider game, will it be a complete story in itself, or will it go on in the next Tomb Raider game maybe?
We can't talk too much about the ending, but it is a contained story. It has a beginning, middle, and an end to it, and you will feel some sense of closure when you get to the end of this story. But we hope, you know, when we come to the end of it, that we see the promise of the future. That's our goal, is to really tell a story about the birth of a hero. This is our opportunity to make a statement about Lara Croft, who she is and who she will be.
When people compare the new Tomb Raider to Uncharted, what would you say? What makes the difference?
I think our tone is very, very different from Uncharted. Much more gritty, you know, real. I also feel our exploration spaces set us apart from Tomb Raider. They tend to be a little bit more linear. We will have spaces, larger spaces to explore than I believe any Uncharted game ever has or will. And the other thing is our character progression. We have in base camps, you saw a little bit of how you can choose to upgrade Lara and upgrade your weapons and your tools. So these little these ingredients, we believe, make for you know, a good contrast experience. There's no doubt that Uncharted is a fantastic game. We love it. We're fans of Uncharted as well. We just love great games, right? But we're making the best Tomb Raider game we can, and that's what we believe we're doing.